taste one again and really describe what you're tasting?
Yeah, it's f***ing hot. This is a dish that got me really excited about food at a time that I wasn't feeling that excited. I love the brightness of the flavors, and I love how not hard it is to make those flavors pop and make my loved ones really happy. Hi, my name is Fiore Tedesco. I'm the chef and co-owner of Locadoro here in Austin, Texas. Today, we're gonna make some crispy chicken thighs with Brussels sprouts and tahini yogurt dressing. For this dish, you're gonna need some chicken thighs. Now, these here are skin on and bone out. That meant I deboned them. It's hard to find the bone out, skin on. Maybe you can find it. I like the skin on. You don't need the skin if you're not into it. Brussels sprouts, about a pound of them. Some Greek yogurt, some harissa, some tahini, some curry leaves if you can find them. You don't need them. They're really fun and they make the dish a little more ja. Thyme, some garlic, some butter, some salt and pepper. Okay, so we're gonna start by pounding out the chicken thighs. We're gonna take one at a time. We're gonna go skin side down. On a sheet of plastic wrap, we're gonna take another sheet of plastic wrap. We're gonna put it right on top. We're gonna take not the spiky end of a mallet, but the flat end. We wanna take this thick end of the chicken thigh and we just wanna smooth that out and almost square this off a little bit. I'm going sort of straight down, but now I'm kind of pounding out at an edge to see where that chicken wants to go, how it wants to travel so that it'll flatten out the way that we want it to. Now, if you don't have a mallet, take an empty wine bottle. You might need to empty that wine bottle. It works really great. Unless you miss and you hit a marble countertop and then you have a lot of wine bottle to deal with. So don't do that. And there we go. We got two nicely pounded flat chicken thighs, inside down, little salt and a little pepper. There we go. We got our pounded seasoned chicken thighs ready to go. Before we really start cooking, it's a good time to get our little bit of sauce work out of the way. So we put about a cup of Greek yogurt to about a quarter cup of tahini in there. That is just a ratio that I think is nice. I know it's gonna need a little salt. Gonna taste a little bit. The full mouth richness of the yogurt, but with a little back end of this fatty richness from the sesame that reads really nicely. Okay, there we go. Tahini yogurt. All right, we got Brussels sprouts now. What we wanna do with these Brussels sprouts is one, you wanna wash them first. Two, you wanna stem these guys. This part right there is not delicious. You wanna trim that off. We cut off the end of the Brussels sprout, put it in our little GB garbage bowl. And then we are gonna take that Brussels sprout and cut that in half. What you do when you take those two halves of the Brussels sprouts is you make a bunch more surface area. Those two sides are gonna go in that hot pan, make them really delicious. And then you just wanna go and repeat. You might look at that bag of Brussels sprouts and be like, I don't wanna cut the stem off those and then cut them in half. Life is too short. It was actually really nice. It's a nice little couple minutes. Relax and cut the Brussels sprouts. They're gonna be better. Okay, so we need to get a couple flattened and peeled cloves of garlic. We're gonna pound it a little bit. I do this all the time, and what I never remember to do is to like put it in a towel. I think I put too much aggression into it, and the garlic just flies all over, and then, you know, my cat reminds me 2 days later that I forgot a clove. She doesn't speak, but she goes, meow, and I'm like, I get it. You wanna use like a wide enough blade so that you can get around it and give it a good smush. I did it. So I'm just gonna take a couple of these cloves and I'm gonna flatten that a little more. Just gonna give it a quick peely. And those whole cloves, they're slightly smushed. They don't need to be flat or anything. They're just gonna go whole in the pan. So we're gonna be cooking these two chicken thighs in a 12-inch carbon steel pan. I like to use a carbon steel pan for this one because it heats up really evenly, heats up fast, and it holds temp really well. If you don't have carbon steel, it's totally cool. You can use a big nonstick, you can use a stainless steel pan. They will work well. We're gonna go on to a high heat. We wanna get this pan not ripping hot, but pretty close, enough so that we're gonna put our little bit of grapeseed oil in there, and we want it to shimmer. And that's gonna happen when it's really hot. If you put oil in a cold steel pan, you're gonna have stuff that sticks a little more. If you get the pan hot first, it doesn't stick. Olive oil for this, not a great idea because the burning point is too low, and so it's gonna have a little acrid taste once the oil gets this hot. So now we are gonna put our chicken in. Get ready for a little splatter here. You can feel it. We get both pieces down there. That sound is glorious. That means the pan's doing its job. I'm gonna be on like medium high here. You turn it down a little bit, you have a little more room for the fat to start to render out and it get crispy. After like 2 minutes, you can go with like the spoon and see where that's at. And I'm looking right there. It's still pretty yellow, not quite golden. So that's not where we want to be just yet. That's got about another 5-6 minutes from there. So we're just gonna let that be and we'll come right back to it. Okay, I'm gonna check these chickens right now and see how they're doing. These look fantastic. You give it a little gentle flip. Now, we've rendered the skin out. They're nice and crispy. That's exactly what we want. Now we wanna hold on here and just let them cook at the same temp for another 5-6 minutes or so. We're gonna put some butter, that garlic that we pounded out so carefully, and some thyme. Everything's gonna sizzle when we put it in. Woo! There's our thyme, there's our garlic, there's our butter. Now it's gonna melt, but because our pan is hot enough, it's starting to foam right away. I love that, and that's exactly what we need. So what I'm gonna do is shift this chicken to the back of the pan, and then I'm gonna start spooning. I'm gonna tilt the pan towards me, staying over the heat, and then gonna lift a spoonful of that chicken fat and butter with all the herbs and flavors in there and start to spoon it over. And we wanna get like about 20 strokes into each. I'm trying to center my spooning over the fattest, thickest part. This is also gonna make that chicken skin even crispier. We're ready to take this out. Lift it directly onto a plate, just like that. I'm gonna take these garlic cloves out as well. That stuff can all rest right on top of the chicken. It'll continue to flavor it, which is nice. We're gonna put the curry leaves with the stem directly onto the pan. We're gonna take it out 5 seconds later. 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000. The reason you want to do this, in part, is to bring their oils and their flavor and their brightness to the surface. So you can make this meal really transportive, really fast with that. The other side of it is by frying them on the stem like this, you just made like some marionettes. It's like some dancing bears, which you can do sort of a puppet show with. You're like, hello. So you can do that all you want. Now in the same pan, we're gonna add our Brussels sprouts. This is a one-pan dish. One thing you're not gonna say this is a quiet meal to make. It's nice and crackly. You feel and hear the relationship of everything cooking with the oil, which is really fun. But I'm turning the sprouts over so that the cut side is down in that fat so it can get a really nice sear on that. It's gonna make for like a crunchier, more fun Brussels sprout. Now you wanna season this with a little salt, 1 pinch of salt, a little bit of black pepper, boom, give it a little shake. And now these are gonna cook for another 5 minutes or so, just like that before we finish the sauce. So we've turned over one of these sprouts. The sear looks great. So we're now gonna shake the pan a little bit and we're gonna give them all a toss. They're looking nice and charry and crispy. We're gonna turn the heat down to low and we're gonna add our sauce to it. So our sauce is going to be this harissa and then our balsamic vinegar. We have about 3 tablespoons. I'm just gonna give that a stir. Now they're gonna continue to cook on low. Harissa is one of my favorite condiments. It is basically like a sweet and spicy chili and garlic condiment. It can be very spicy. It can be a little more mellow. You want a little more mellow. And if finding harissa is hard, you can use something like a chili crisp if that is something that's available. If it's not, you can use like cumin or coriander, put a little sprinkle in, and that'll do roughly the same thing. We want this to be like, these are super sort of creamy and coated. You can see in the pan, everything has sort of like emulsified and turned into one like really nice pan sauce together. We'll taste a little one, make sure the cook is right, make sure the seasoning's right. Still got a little crunch. The sauce is really nice. The heat from the harissa is fantastic. The little bit of acidity from the balsamic is there. We are done and we're ready to plate this. We're gonna start by putting our yogurt down. You can use a little bit of it, a lot of it. You're gonna want a little bit of that and a bite of everything. Then we are gonna go back and get our Brussels sprouts and we are gonna spoon them directly over. I'm gonna tuck them sort of on one side of the plate. Leave a little room for the chicken. There we go. And now we are going to take our crispy chicken, which still feels crispy and delicious. And now we are gonna take our curry leaves, and you can crumble them just like so, right on top of the plate, so you get a little bit spread out in every bite. This plate is ready to eat. We're gonna try a little bite. We meaning, I'm gonna take a little bite. I'm gonna get a little bit of everything in one bite. It's pretty awesome. So the chicken, the skin is super crispy. The Brussels sprouts are crispy and luscious all the way through, and a little spiciness from the Brussels sprouts, wild flavors from the curry leaves, and the little texture, their feathery texture, and the creamy richness of the yogurt really ties it together. I would eat that like 5 days in a row and not feel weird about it yet. I might do that right now. This is day 1. See you on day 5. This is our crispy chicken thighs with Brussels sprouts, curry leaves, tahini yogurt. Yum. I'm Fiore Tedesco from Locadoro. See you next time.